Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dashing with Flash. Of course, I am Flash, and it's a nice day out. Got my shades on. But today I want to talk about a few things going on in the gig economy. Firstly, I'd like to speak about, I just want to talk about, the decline now, what that means. If you don't know about it, what it is. I'm sure you have at least heard about it by now. But if you haven't, and even if you have, I just want to give my thoughts on it and how I feel, and especially how things have kind of evolved right now in terms of DoorDash specifically. I also want to go over a couple of orders, a few orders that I've had, show you guys some orders that you really should be avoiding and reasons why you should be avoiding them. So, decline now. First things first on the agenda list. Decline now is a movement that started, it started before I even really got heavily involved into the gig economy. It has to do with just wages. It revolves around pay. So first and foremost, DoorDash orders and throughout most of the gig economy apps, the orders, they come through, you see how much you get, what the payout's going to be, mileage, etc., etc. Not for Grubhub though, but that's a different story, different conversation for a different day. So what happens is the decline now movement came about because low wages, especially with DoorDash, very low base pay, which I think had gotten lower in some part of the timeline. But low base pay and tips not being what they were. So DoorDash, Dashers started to just say, we're not taking the low offers. We're not going, and again, I'll get into this in a little bit, but we're not going 5 miles for $3. We're not doing that because that's low pay. The dollars to mileage ratio is very, very poor on things like that. And clearly it's orders where customers don't tip. And if you're an experienced, at any bit of experience at all, experienced Dasher, gig economy worker, you know what orders to avoid. Okay, and again, we'll get into that. Now, what happened, speed the timeline up a little bit. What happened now is, DoorDash has a new pay model where they're starting to, I think, test in different markets, showing the pay, and I don't have the screen. If I find a screenshot of it, I'll throw it in here. But showing the pay where it tells you, where it takes away how much you're getting total, definitively. And some of us have figured out how to manipulate that and, find the hidden tips in there. But they would show you the pay and the mileage, the restaurant, whatever. And now they've since changed that. They've stripped that portion of it, show you real big and bold the time ETA. I do like the time ETA because that works really well for Uber Eats. And when I start breaking down the apps specifically, individually, I'll get into the details about, each app. But showing the ETA, showing the mileage as normal, very small in the left-hand part of the screen, and then even smaller below that, at the very bottom, below the restaurant, below the estimated time, is what the base pay is, your base pay, plus 100% of your tips. What does that even mean? Nobody knows. And DoorDash isn't saying. But that has a lot of Dashers very concerned going forward if they roll that out on a more national level, because that means you don't know if the order you're taking even has a tip at all. So if it says you're $5 base pay, $4 base pay plus 100% of tip, I don't know what the tip is. Tip could be $1. Tip could be nothing. The tip could be $10. But you don't know, and they're not telling you now. That's very, very dangerous. So, I don't like it. I have options though. In my market, again here in Frederick, if you're in the Frederick market, I hope this is the purpose of this channel, is to help my fellow Dashers, drivers in this community, in the Frederick, Maryland market, just get better. Just get better and know tips and tricks, and there isn't a lot of information out there specifically for our market, and I hope to get some more of that out there. But we have options here. DoorDash is not necessarily always my go-to. It just isn't. It hasn't been for a while. Again, as I stated in my first video, DoorDash is kind of, I've just recently been approved on the platform not too long ago, within the last month, and you know, it's good. It can be good, but I really lean towards Uber Eats. Grubhub is very good. Grubhub comes with a caveat, but I'll get into that at a later time. Nevertheless, it's still not good, because in this gig economy lifestyle, as the veterans know, and those to the new drivers out there, it's up and down, ebb and flow. Sure, you can spend X amount of hours driving. You can go out, like I'm gonna go out today. You can go out for 4 hours or 5 hours, and you can average $25 to $30 an hour. However, one of those hours you might make $10, hypothetically, but the next hour will come and you'll make 35. You'll make 40. So it averages out. It balances. You have to take this gig economy with the ebb and flow of things, ups and downs. That's just how it is. That's how it's going to be. That's the nature of the beast. But getting back to the new pay scale, the new pay model, or the app changes, or whatever you want to call it, that DoorDash is looking to implement, I think, going forward, it's going to be very problematic if they keep the structure the way that it is now. They're going to lose a lot of drivers. There's going to be a lot of orders just sitting, getting bounced around, people declining them, as if that isn't happening now, but it stands to get worse. Oh, it could get worse. It can get worse. Now, I've seen some things recently, and I say recently, and I'm talking about like within the last week. A lot of content creators, dashers, drivers that do, that create content, that drive, are somehow blaming the decline now movement for the new pay scale. Really? That's what we're doing? Look, this is independent contract work. You are 100% within your right to take whatever you want to take, which is why your acceptance rate is irrelevant. Doesn't matter. It could be 1%. It doesn't matter. Take whatever orders you want to take. But the notion that the decline now movement is what got us here is absolutely asinine. That's just in my opinion, those drivers are really showing their company side. And you don't work for the company. So that in itself is mind-boggling. This company, you are fourth or fifth at best on the totem pole for any of these apps like concern. They care about shareholders. They care about stocks. They care about the customer. They care about the merchant. Sometimes even the merchant is before you. Okay? You are down on the totem pole as a driver. They don't care about you. They don't. They've proven that. And so to think that, why should you take trash orders just to, appease DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever? No, absolutely not. I'm not an employee. I am an independent contractor. I refuse. We're not doing that. That's not what this community is about. And that's not what the decline now movement is about. Now, do I 100% agree with everything that happened in the decline now movement per se? No. However, I do agree with we're not taking trash orders. And I also personally, unless it's a very specific situation that benefits me, I don't take orders that don't have a tip. That's my prerogative. And I stand by that. That's just the way it is. So to the drivers out there that think that decline now is what got us here, come down, up, off of your high horse. That's all I'm going to say on that. And I'm going to roll right into the next part of this. I'm going to go over a couple of just a few orders here just to show you guys things that you should not be really, orders that you shouldn't be concerning yourself with. You should be passing on these 100% of the time. And if you are you're in this Frederick, Maryland market, there are good orders out there. Decline 4, 5, 6 orders. Yes. Even if you're only working for 2 hours, I promise you, if you're out during the lunch rush, the breakfast rush, and the breakfast rush is not as great as the other two, but the lunch rush, breakfast, and the number one anywhere, pretty much, that dinner rush. That 4:30 to 9 o'clock time, in Frederick, I promise you, you're going to get orders, especially if it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Decline it. Send it away. Let's take a look at some of these orders here. And I'm just going to spitball it here off my phone while you guys, I'll throw a screenshot and you can take a look with me. So I got an order here. I was on DoorDash at this particular time. I was also on Uber at the same time, but again, multi-apping. Take one order and close out the other app, log off the other app, whatever. I'll get into that another day too. Wendy's. First of all, stay away from Wendy's. There are a couple restaurants that you do not want to be going to. And in Frederick specifically, I will go over all of those restaurants, not in this video, but Wendy's is one of the restaurants generally, and I'm just talking everywhere across the country, that it's not a great business to pick up from. Because they don't start anything until you get there. Till you get there, tell them who the order's for, then they go back there and they start to work on it. If it's a big order, you might be there for a little bit, especially if it's really busy. I digress. Wendy's. The offer was $6.25, 7.1 miles. 3 items. I'm taking this is coming off for all of these. No, we're not taking that. First of all, at the bare minimum, if all else fails, you should be at, $1 a mile. But again, there's no reason why it shouldn't be $1.50 a mile, $1.75. You should really be, and again, I say $1 per mile, just as $1 per mile is like break glass in case of emergency. Because really, the new standard is in that $1.50, $1.75 per mile range. Anything more than that, now you're starting to head into profitable territory. $2 a mile and up. Anything $2 a mile and up, as long as it's reasonable drop off, chef's kiss. So, needless to say, I passed on that order. Let's take a look at another one here. Asia restaurant. It's actually not a restaurant that I'm particularly familiar with. But $7, 7 miles, 2 items. Yeah, that's a no for me. Not to mention, these orders are going places that I don't want to go. And this Asia specifically is taking me way out of like where I want to be at. So, no thank you. Absolutely not. Excuse me. So, this next one here, we're going to take a look at Uber Eats. It's overlaid over the DoorDash app because, again, I had them both open at the same time. But $9, 11.4 miles, taking 27 minutes. Absolutely not. This doesn't check off any of the boxes. The dollars to mile ratio is terrible. And again, time, the dollars per hour, also terrible. Even if you round it up to half an hour, that's $18 an hour. We don't like to drop into that territory at all. Another one here, Burger King, $3.25 for 3.7 miles, 1 item. That is terrible. Not only does this order not have a tip, but it's been passed on already. They got a little add-on here to try to add, because somebody else declined this already. This is 1 item. Anyway, Now here's an interesting one. On DoorDash, Pretzel and Pizza Creations, which is a good restaurant. It's going to be one of my thumbs up restaurants when I talk about, the businesses in Frederick. Local place, 3 items, $3 for 4.7 miles. Now this order, I almost feel like it had a hidden tip, because people that order from this restaurant usually tip. Whether the orders I picked up here from any of the apps, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, I've picked up from this restaurant on all 3 of those platforms. And there's always a tip. Well, that, and I don't take orders that don't have tips, but I haven't seen them come where they didn't have a tip, is basically what I'm saying. So I was very surprised about that. And I like picking up there. It's a very smooth process, but I had to decline that. That's a no-brainer. Checkers, $6 for 6.8 miles. 2 items. That's a heck to the no. And then right after that, I declined that one, and 2 seconds later, another Checkers, same Checkers, going to the oddly, now if you take a look at the map, it's very, location-wise, very similar. I had a feeling it was the same place, but I wasn't 100% sure, and then I realized that the previous one was a little bit higher in pay, and then the pay wouldn't go down. So, $5.25, 2 items, 8.1 miles. No, don't take that. Don't do it. Please, for the love of the rest of the community, especially here in Frederick, do not take these orders, Lord. And if you thought that was bad, I'll end it with this. Another good restaurant I like to pick up from, Shiba Express Sushi and Hibachi. Usually tips on these orders. They usually go a little bit of a distance, but they're usually great payouts. $4.25, 6 items, 9.1 miles. There is zero profitability on that order. None whatsoever. Your operating cost does not even cover that. Just realistically speaking. Absolute garbage. So decline these orders, please. If you see anything, $3, 3 miles, $5, 5 miles. No, you want orders that are in the range of, you want it, $7 a mile and a half, $9 3 miles. Sure, I'll take those all day, because those might take around 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. If you want to, the further out you extend your willingness to drive, your payout needs to go up with that, of what you will accept. If you're willing to go 8-9 miles, the payout need to be $20 or better. Bottom line. Because if you take an $8 order, if you take an 8 or 9 mile order for $12, that's not helping anybody. It's not helping you. It's not helping the rest of the community. It's just not. Okay, it's not great, because orders like that usually take you out of your hotspot. And it might look good initially. You're like, oh, $12, 8 miles, that's not too bad. Excuse me. But now you're in a position where you have to drive back in. And I'm not necessarily specifically talking about being out of region on DoorDash and then having to get back in, because we know that you don't necessarily have to do that. But I just mean out of, again, as I said, hotspot, out of the area where you're going to be making money. Because now you have to drive back, more than likely, drive back to an area where you can get more orders. So now that 8 miles is 10 miles. It's 11 miles. It's 12 miles. And now I'm back at $1 per mile. It might be 13 miles. You might have to go to 8 there and come back to that area altogether. You might have to go 16 miles before you get another order for that $12. Gotta be smart. Let's be smart. Let's make the right decisions when it comes to working these orders on the gig economy. Now I'll leave it at that. If you guys got any questions, feel free. I'll answer anything. Tell me how you feel. Tell me if you like the direction. I don't care. Tell me whatever. Subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. If you don't like it, and then tell me why you don't like it. I'm good. I can handle it. I can take it. I'm a big boy. But that's it. That's all I got for today. I will catch you guys on the next video. This is Dashing with Flash. Y'all have a great day. And be profitable. Be profitable. And together we can all survive and thrive in the gig economy. Y'all have a good day.